With opening night right around the corner, we have 1/2 hour to find the killer. Welcome back, everybody. Jason here. Let's talk Only Murders in the Building, Season 3. Today I'll be talking about Episode 9, titled 30. At the start of the video, I will go through clues, suspects, Easter eggs, and theories. And in the latter portion, I will give my review of the episode. That being said, if you don't want this episode spoiled for you and you haven't seen it yet, stop the video, head over to Hulu, check it out, and come on back and we can talk about it. But now that we're past the spoiler warning, let's dive in, shall we? First up, this week's Easter egg. As we pan up to the rooftop, we will see our trio standing on the roof, that of course representing the three of them reunited once again. After a very bizarre dream involving triplets, Mabel is told by Oliver that he's being discharged after his very successful stint procedure. With 2 days until opening night and Loretta's arraignment at 5 o'clock, they have to work overtime to find the killer. Dickie is their prime suspect, so they bring him in for questioning. During that questioning, Dickie reveals to them that Ben used to go out looking for female companionship and drugs every Thursday night. And when asked about it, Ben would simply tell Dickie, "Snitches get stitches." Ben, of course, requested tickets for those women on opening night, their names being Trixie, Emerald, Marigold, Dot, and Maymay. After being freaked out by Ben's reawakening, Dickie got himself drunk, put on Ben's Cobra costume, went to the spot where Ben would go every Thursday night, looking for those female companions. He said he passed out for a few hours where a dog peed on him. Well, at least he hopes a dog peed on him. He then, of course, shows them a security cam photo to corroborate his alibi. With Dickie alibying out, the trio decide to go to wherever Ben went every Thursday night to discover that Snitches Get Stitches is actually the name of a thread shop where they believe is a front for a brothel. Turns out it's an actual thread shop, and the 5 women were seamstresses, part of Ben's sewing circle. He went there every Thursday night because sewing helped keep him clean. They, of course, reveal Ben was there before opening night, making the opening night hankies for everybody as a special gift, also running lines. He was very excited for them to see his opening night performance. Then Trixie plays a very distressing voice message in which Ben is wondering if they're coming and says he feels very alone and that there's no one there he can trust. Now Oliver hears himself in the background, revealing that that was just before curtain. So after finding out that Ben was really happy 1 minute and 30 minutes later leaving a very distressed message, they decide to go through the interrogations to retrace Ben's steps to see how he got there. First up, KT, who yells at Ben for being late. Next up, Cliff, who offers Ben a cookie, but Ben snaps at him, revealing that his plan is to fast until after the show. After that, you have Dickie, who reveals that he was planning to quit after being urged by Loretta, and Ben and Dickie had a fight. Next up, you have Howard, who heard a strange noise coming from the locked door of KT's office, presumably the paper shredder. The shredded item of which Howard is still trying to reconstruct. Next up, from Loretta, you have Fight Call, where they had that fight that involved her, Ben, and Charles punching Ben in the face. Now that's, of course, when they fill in the blank that Joy touched up Ben's face with makeup where she dropped the lipstick in his dressing room. After that, you have Donna, who, after trying to comfort Cliff, decides to comfort Ben, who's also a bit of a basket case, so she sends him to his dressing room. At which point, Tobert approaches him trying to film some behind-the-scenes stuff, and Ben snatches his camera. That's when, of course, we see Ben was with someone in his dressing room, and that someone might have poisoned him in that final moment. But with everyone accounted for, they have no idea who it could have been. After hitting a dead end, it's that point that Mabel tells them it's her 30th birthday. So in a makeshift birthday move, and with Oliver needing some energy, they grab a dip jar out of the refrigerator and put a birthday candle in it to wish Mabel a happy birthday. She blows out the candle, and Oliver immediately goes into the dip, talking to it as if it were a lost lover. It's at that point that Mabel realizes Ben wasn't talking to a person. He was talking to something that he wasn't supposed to have. A cookie. A cookie that was sitting in his dressing room on his table. Which then they realized that's what the words effing pig meant. Ben wrote effing pig on his own mirror to himself in a shaming sort of way. It was this point where he was completely broken down. Howard comes bursting back into the room where he reveals to them he put together what had been shredded, and Oliver realizes it was Maxine's review. At this point, it's then that they realize that Donna would have been the one who shredded the paper, found the rat poison, put it on the cookie, and gave it to Ben, and made sure he got in the dressing room, all to protect Cliff, because it was Cliff's first show. So Donna was doing everything she could to protect her son. With this information, they decide to go to the courthouse to try to convince Loretta to take back her guilty plea. How are they going to do this? They can't use a ladder. They can't try to cry their way in. But Joy's wedding dress, which was dropped off earlier, is the perfect way to get in. Mabel puts on the wedding dress and then the guys wear tuxes, and they get themselves into the courthouse where they try to stop Loretta from delivering her guilty plea. They are about to reveal who they believe the killer is when they find who else in the courtroom but Donna herself. Now, I know I said before that I thought Taubert was the killer because we didn't know much about him. Well, we didn't know much about Donna either. And there were some things that kind of led her to be a bit suspect as I kind of really thought about it, such as her speech towards Loretta in the bathroom, where she said a mother would do anything for her son. My theory is she somehow knew that Loretta was Dickie's son and that the police were leaning towards him. And if they weren't, she was going to push the police towards him so that Loretta would confess so that Donna would be able to go free. And the reason she might have been in the courtroom was to make sure that Loretta would go away. But there could also be other theories behind that. So now that they're 97% sure who the killer was, I think they're going to go after her in this finale, but we'll see. It's opening night, so who knows how this is all going to play out. As for how I thought of this episode, it was nice to see everybody really truly together. I know they kind of got back together in the previous episode, but having them back together this time really felt really good. And kind of going through the final minutes of Ben Glenroy in this way was very different from anything they had done before. And I thought it was very interesting. It was a lot of fun using the interrogations to create a timeline and inserting themselves into that moment instead of just kind of imagining it like they had done with Bunny in the past or even Tim Kono. I really thought this was a great episode, and I'm really, really, really excited to see how the finale is going to play out. But those are just my thoughts on Only Murders in the Building, Season 3, Episode 9. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Were there any clues I might have missed? You have any other theories? Any suspects? I want to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click that like button. You want to see more videos, don't forget to subscribe. Click that notification bell so you can get updates on all my future videos. You can also follow my social media pages. Links are down in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.